Hello, everyone. So, my name is Stephanie, for those who do not know me. I recently had done videos on me traveling around Italy. As you can see, I am not in Italy anymore. I am actually in the office in my apartment in Israel, where me and my husband have been living for a while now. The one thing that this video is going to be about, because I'm going to have two videos coming out this weekend, and the reason why I did not want to add this video into my last one for Italy is because I feel like this one has a little bit more of like pros and cons, and I don't want that to ruin the experience in the videos because even though there was definitely some cons to this trip, there was really great moments and memories that me and my friend were able to make, and I don't regret going to Italy. I would probably go again, but this time I know the places I would definitely prefer to go to. So let's just get into it, I guess. Okay, number one will be that me and my friend actually ended up coming back from dinner one night, and then we were catching one of the like trams, and at the time we didn't realize it, but it seems like where we were staying there was a lot of men like around our hotel on the at the outside end of our hotel. There would be a lot of men in that area just around that part of town, and it seems like they noticed us when we were in the city. So they ended up, I think, following us from the tram, and then it's about how they presented themselves too, and how they were asking, where we were staying and all that. So, made us feel very uncomfortable. And, if you were there in the moment, you would understand what I'm talking about. But yes, we ended up getting, I guess, somewhat followed at this point. And then the good thing is that me and my friend are not dumb, and we just ended up riding the tram until they got off, and then we eventually found our way back to our hotel. Um, Number two, someone actually stole my credit card, and this was sad because I was so careful with it, and I know who stole it, but without, any kind of proof, I wasn't going to make a big deal out of it. So I just ended up calling my husband and having him cancel it immediately. Like the people were still not that far away from me because they had hid and then they showed up. And I was like, okay. Um, I just ended up calling my husband and having him do that because I was so stressed out at this point. Sorry. And then, but yeah, that was handled. And then it was a bit of a pain and a disappointment on the trip because you're trying to have a good time. And then something else happens, but they got handled. Number three. So, number three is more like just like it was annoying. It wasn't anything like tragic or anything like super bad that happened. It was we had transportation issues. So, number three, transportation issues. It was just there was a lot of delays, but these were long delays, or like sometimes for us at least, whatever transportation we were taking at some point did not come. Like, it was, I don't know. So just, look out for that. Make sure that when you schedule things, you give yourself gaps or time to be able to, you know, have time to get there, even with a delay or something. Number four, um, number four kind of falls into the first one, which is the stalker one, or just feeling uncomfortable with the atmosphere. Like, at some point, this was in Venice, and we weren't staying on Venice Island. We were staying on the other end. And my friend and I would have to go out to eat because we're not going to starve ourselves. But we got a lot of stares again from a lot of men. And I'm just like, okay, I can understand it. Like, people are going to look at you. But this was uncomfortable. This was really uncomfortable. And I think, you'll know the difference between, like, okay, someone just glancing at you and people just, you know, really being gross with it. um, Number five, the number five. So, number five was interesting, I would say, because it came out of nowhere. But we were coming through an alleyway, and I ended up having this artist, I guess. He, I don't know, he just started ranting and yelling at me. And then he actually got up and started storming towards me. So I ended up, like, starting to walk away very quickly because I was, at this point, I had stopped because I was not understanding what was going on. And so I walk away. I put my hand up. I'm like, no, I'm good. Like, I don't know what you want, but no. So, and then this person is just yelling at me, like, I don't need you. I don't need you. And I'm just kind of confused because I don't know this person, obviously. Um, I think I'm at number six. So, number six was funny in the sense of, um, I guess we didn't, when I, when you get a hotel, look at the reviews and don't just look at the, like, first couple of reviews, look all the way down. So, in my video in Rome, there's, like, this clip of my friend running in this, like, random kind of, like, between field area, or like a little dirt path. Okay, so that was the safe access point to walk to our hotel from the train station. Granted, we have suitcases and backpacks, and it is hot in Italy at this point. And we actually could not find this road, and Google Maps could not find this road. So we were lost for a good while with all our stuff, trying to find this hotel. Eventually, we did. We called the office and we found our way to the hotel, but we quickly ended up, like, we stayed there one night, and then we checked out and actually got an Airbnb, and that ended up being the lifesaver of this place, of Rome. Like, I think if we would have stayed at this hotel, we would have been miserable because not even the taxis could find us at this hotel at some points. So, um, it was just really inconvenient. Um, and I personally would have preferred, if we're going to have this long trip and we're going to be traveling so much, we prefer the convenience. We don't mind walking, but this was not walking distance from anything. This was far, and we had assumed that we could get the train, but the train station was being remodeled. So it was a mess, and just getting a train there, walking there, and everything, we would have been super sweaty, dirty, tired already. I'm just, no. Sorry, not for us. Number 7. This one really did upset me, um, because it was out of nowhere as well. And so this was on the bus. Me and my friend ended up getting on the bus, and there was this man on the floor. Um, Pretty sure he was homeless, but he ended up, like, he was, flicking everyone off, giving everyone the finger. And he actually ended up kicking me at some point. Now, the bus is moving, so he didn't, like kick me with all his force, because he did end up slightly shifting, but he did end up hitting me, and it still hurt a little. But it did upset me. So I'm just saying, like, this trip was pretty dangerous, and there was like a lot of things that I think added into this factor of, by the end of this trip I was exhausted. And probably why my Rome footage is not as long as my other one is because at this point I was tired from this trip, just because of all the things that kept happening. um so that's pretty much it for the cons. I think, as far as like for Venice, I would say we just ended up having too many days there. So we had 5 days for each location. I think Venice, you just need like 2 days, in my opinion, to see it. One of the days we did end up getting a bus to one of the Dolomites. So, sorry. So that was, I guess, if you want to do that, you could do like 3 days. But honestly, I would just stay in the Dolomites, like, for a couple of days. Like, if you're gonna do 2 days in Venice, then you might as well just stay over there for a couple of days. Um, we ended up doing the Dolomites with like one of those get your guide or something like that travel things. So if anyone's looking into that, I recommend that. We ended up getting our bus at the airport there. Um, just be careful. Be careful. Stay safe, especially if you're traveling alone, or in my opinion, if it's just two women. Be careful. And then try to stay in the city centers, like no matter where you're gonna be at. If you're looking for a hotel, even if it costs you more, I personally, in my opinion, stay in the center of the city. It's safer, in my opinion. If you're gonna stay in any of the hotels in Rome or Florence or Venice, I'd say stay in the center of wherever it is that you're gonna be traveling. Even if it costs you a little bit more, it's worth it for the convenience of it and then the safety of it. I think it'll be a little bit more safer right in the center versus on the outskirts, because then you don't have to be commuting, either walking or train. And if you're coming back late or leaving late, sometimes I think that can be a little unsafe. And so, to each their own. Okay, so the pros. Number 1, I'd say beautiful architecture. It has history. So it's obviously going to have things that, at least for me, since I'm from the US, when I think of Europe, this is definitely what I think of Europe. It's pretty. You know, it's worth the pictures. Um, Number two, I would say when you do meet the nice people, the locals, or even the other tourists that are traveling, I like communicating with people, meeting new people. That's why I like traveling, or one of the reasons why. So meeting nice people. Um, Number three would be the towns or places outside of the city that we went to. That was my favorite time of these trips. Um, so it was in the Dolomites, and it was in Monte Rosso, the beach town, I think. So those two destinations were my absolute favorite. I am definitely more of an outer city person. Back home, I do not live in the city. I live more on the country end of things. I prefer it that way. I prefer more small towns. So the small town areas were my favorite personally. Um, what else? Oh, number four, the restaurants with good food. I think something that me and my friend actually struggled with is that we did not find as many restaurants that we thought that we would absolutely love their food. Um, for us, and we both agreed on this one, we both preferred the food in Florence. We found better food in Florence, I guess. That's where we ended up finding, the restaurants that had the best food. Not just local, we had a lot of different food. And my friend can be a bit of a picky eater, in my opinion. So she personally definitely preferred the one in Florence, the food in Florence. Not to say that there wasn't good options in the other places that we went. I think just overall, it was in Florence. But yeah, so the good food that you can find is my one of my things, because there is really good food. You just have to find it. Um, what else? Okay. Um, do I recommend going? Yes. I recommend going at least once if it's on your list to go. The reason why I'm making this video is so people kind of know and understand what it's like. Um, Keep in mind, the summertime is hot. So if you see my videos and I have an umbrella, there's a reason why, because I typically will not have an umbrella with me. I'm from Florida. I'm used to the heat. I just put on sunblock and suck it up. But this case, it was just too hot, and we were outside for long periods of time. Um, so I think if you're a typical person that's just going to go to one point to another point and back, it's one thing. But if you're going to be traveling around and sightseeing and stuff, definitely try to, I don't know, in my opinion, I don't care if I look like a tourist, so I'm gonna bring an umbrella. um Number six would be, oh, my choice, in the summertime. I would personally be the type to prefer the northern end in the summertime. It's much colder, way better weather, in my opinion, for the summertime specifically. Um, But if you're going to go to Italy, then obviously you're going to want to see multiple places. What else? Number 7. No. Well, I think that's it. So, yeah. So, it also just depends on what you prefer or what your preferences. Like I said, I'm more of an outer city person, small town, and my friend actually is more of the bigger city. So she actually loved Rome, and not to say that Rome isn't nice. There was nice things about it. I just personally don't like all the noise, all the crowding and all of that. And I like seeing more green and stuff like that. um, but yeah, so it all like, besides the stuff that I actually experience, everything else is a matter of opinion. So you might have a different opinion than I do, and that's okay. You're free to obviously travel and enjoy what it is that you like. This is the reason why I travel, to gain new experiences, and to it also helps me appreciate, I think, the convenience of the things back home. And not that I didn't appreciate it, but it just makes me appreciate it more. And I think a lot of people, like, when they're used to not traveling and they've never traveled, they don't know, what it's like being in other countries where you don't know the language, you don't prefer the food, and let's say the culture too is a lot different than what you're used to. Then, you know, you don't learn to appreciate what you got. But I loved Italy. I love parts of Italy. There's definitely some things that I didn't, or that were just, you know, bad experiences in the moment. But you can get those bad experiences anywhere, especially in cities. So that's also one thing to keep in mind. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. I just wanted to share my experience because I feel like in my YouTube videos that I've done so far for Italy, I'm showing all these nice areas, I'm showing all this beautiful experience. My friend and me are laughing, but and then I see the comments and I see, oh, it looks so beautiful and this and this, and I'm like, yes, it's beautiful, but there's also, negative things. I don't want you to go off of this video and then end up going there and having a terrible experience, or think I've lied to you. No, that's what this video is for, is to show and share the negative part of things as well, because there's always you know a pro and a con to something. So yeah, but I hope this video has helped you out, or has at least let you in on the funny and inconvenient and happy moments that I spent in my trip in Italy. Um, and I hope you one day travel there if you desire to. um, and I thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video.